looking at a 2015 Ford TWX 8036, basically an older, not old, 10 years old, but a two-stage heat pump from Train. It was one we installed in 2015, and he didn't keep the maintenance up on it, and evidently the company he was using didn't do a good job keeping the maintenance up on it the last couple of years either. But anyway, they came out and told him this is a second opinion call. Look at all that. They didn't clean. They really didn't clean anything, I don't think. Oh well. But told him his compressor was bad, and so he called us as a second opinion to double check, because they were trying to sell him a new system. Now it is 10 years old, but this compressor registered in this unit. The compressor is actually a problem, and it may be the compressor's got a 12-year warranty on it. So they didn't check that. They told him it was out of warranty, I guess. Didn't give him an option to replace the compressor, just put in a new system. So he wanted a second opinion from us, and we are going to double check their diagnosis. He said they did put a new capacitor in it. It was bad. The breaker was tripping. So let's check to see if this thing shorted the ground real quick. It may be. It may not be. I don't know. The story sounds pretty legitimate after talking to him. So we will see. Alright. So I'm not getting continuity there. I'm going to go straight to my ground wire. I was using that little terminal plate there where all my commons are connected, but go straight to the ground wire and then see what happens. Are we shorted the ground? It does not appear that we are. Now he did say that it was tripping the breaker, so it could just be a locked rotor. Some fresh copper right there. And that was just me touching the side of the capacitor. That's grounded with that strap. I'm not getting anything off any of those. So let me ohm out the windings on this thing. Alright, so let's ohm out the windings. Let's see what we get here. So common to run 0.6, common to start. Get a good connection there. Common start is 1.7, so I'm expecting about 2.2, 2.3 between run and start. 2.2. So we are not shorted to ground. We are not ohming out like 5,000 or some crap like that on our windings. 1 plus 2 equals 3, and that's kind of what I'm getting. So The next thing to do is going to be turn it on and see what happens. Now the thermostat's off, the fan's on. I'm going to leave the thermostat off. I'm going to go reset the breaker, put power to the disconnect, and then I'm going to push the contactor in. We're going to see if this thing's locked up. Alright, so I've got the breaker back on. Put my meter over here, set it for amps, inrush. See what our inrush is on this thing. Now, it may not be shorted to ground, but there could be a winding short, kind of an internal short in the compressor, causing a problem. So that's a possibility. It may still trip the breaker, but it may be a short internal to the compressor and not necessarily shorted to ground. So let me put this back on. I was trying to find my wire nut from my ground wire. There it is. And then we will first make sure it doesn't trip. Typically, if it's a short to ground, so as soon as you put power to it, even if the contactor's not closed, you send some power to that compressor, it'll trip the breaker. And that did not happen. So let's confirm our voltage here. 245 volts. So let's see what happens when I push the contactor in. Yep. And there's my inrush at 35.6, but my locked rotor on this compressor is not going to be anywhere that low. So our LRA is 83. So we do have an internal short in this compressor, winding to winding short, that kind of thing. They'll still ohm out okay a lot of the times. You'll check them to ground and they'll check okay. But when you turn the power on, I mean, it didn't trip this breaker. Let's see if I still have power. Unless it tripped the breaker that goes to that box, wherever that's at, but I don't think there's going to be one. I don't have any voltage. So there's another breaker that tripped somewhere in another panel that feeds that one. I'm going to have to find that. Alright, so that breaker was tripped. It didn't switch. I'm hoping we don't have a problem with the breaker, to tell you the truth, but one thing I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to take the condenser fan motor out of the circuit just to confirm that it's a compressor deal. And then after I do that, I'm going to start it with just the compressor, or with just the fan in the circuit and the compressor out of the circuit. So we're going to try this again with the fan off or disconnected. See what happens. Coincidentally, the other unit behind me started at the exact same time that I pushed this in. Wasn't that funny? So it did trip again. And I took the cover off. So it reset it, and then we're just going to turn the fan on and see what the fan does. Let me pull the disconnect back out. fan hooked back up. So it doesn't even want to go on there very tight. Yeah, it's been taken off 2 or 3 times probably. Drop it down. Fan, put that back on the defrost board. Then I'm going to disconnect the compressor from the circuit real quick. And we're going to see what that breaker does with just the fan in the circuit. Yeah, sometimes you can have an internal short in a compressor that I could get the megger out and meg it, but I'm not going through all that. So these wires over here separated. Put the disconnect back in. Let's see what happens now. I know. Hold on a minute. No, that doesn't have a variable speed motor in it. I've got 243 volts. Fan common, fan capacitor. Make sure this is closed. So I've got 244 volts there. Okay, so the relay on my defrost board is closed. Huh. Alright, I just needed to put my screws back in my contactor there to tighten up all those connections so that when I close the contactor, the fan comes on and runs. So it's definitely the compressor. It's just got an internal short in it. I've seen it before. It's not going to show up checking at the ground or ohming it out. Just a winding short. If I had my megger with me, I'd put that on it and it would probably test bad. Let me go see if I have that. Alright, so I do have it with me and we're going to check each one of these. The bad on our common. Check it on our run. Bad again. And not really any reason to go any further, but we'll check it on our start. We are bad there. So we are looking at a bad compressor. So they were right, but the part of it is it's registered. That compressor had a 12-year warranty on it. They told him it didn't have a warranty on it. Told him he needed a new system, and he had his paperwork from where we registered this thing and gave us a call. So we'll see what he wants to do. Anyway guys, appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.